Most people keep food in their freezer. Not me. This cute tiny mini fridge is full of unexposed negative film, both still and cinema. According to my spreadsheet, I have about 94 films in here, and as you can see, I am not lying. Some people call it an addiction. I simply call it an investment. In any case, I just wanted to make a laid-back video on all the film I have in here, talking about the ones that are discontinued, hard to get, and just my general thoughts and opinions on the film, because I have a lot. Let's just get this over with before I regret it. I'll start off with all the Fuji film I have, and I have a lot. Fuji in recent years has been pulling out of the film game despite film still being in their name. I believe I prefer their color profiles more, and that starts me off with the now discontinued 35mm Superia 400 and Superia Premium 400. This film used to be all over CVS's, Targets, and Walmarts until about 2 years ago. It was cheap and I liked the grain and colors. I even got my favorite photo of a bench with a roll. I have about 6 rolls of the standard left, and I just acquired, as I was filming the video, the premium version, 3 rolls. I am told the premium version is still technically on sale in Japan only, and that the shadows have more detail in them. Regardless, I will miss this film, which is why I have a bunch on ice, and I'll save them for special occasions, like benches. Which reminds me, I have not explained why all this film is in the freezer in the first place. It's simple, actually. Film, in a very simplified explanation, is reactive chemicals coated on plastic, and by storing them as cold as reasonable, we can extend the lifespan far beyond the expiration date on the package. This does not fully stop the degradation, however, and cosmic radiation will still slowly ruin the film over the years. This is called fogging. Luckily, the less sensitive the film, the longer the film can generally last. Anyway, the next roll I see here is my Fuji Pro film. Fuji discontinued the Pro 400H several years ago, which I was told was considered the wedding photography film with its bright and stunning portrait photos when pushed to stop. I purchased 2 5-packs of it in 120 back when it was inexpensive as places were dumping their stock. I've yet to shoot it, but I am excited to try it now that it has become hard to get. In this same vein, I managed to acquire its even rarer cousin, Pro 160 NS 1.5-pack. It's supposed to be similar, but a slower and finer grained version that has only been available in Japan for the last decade. Also discontinued the same time as Pro 400H. The Kodak equivalent of these films is the Portra family, which I have rolls of 400 in 35mm, 120, and 1 or 2 rolls of Portra 800 in 120 and 35mm. I love the look, grain, and speed of these classic films, but it's just hard to justify the cost. Moving along, I have this other 35mm Fujicolor negative film, the Fuji 100. My friend Matthew managed to score me 2 rolls of this Japan-only film recently, and I really want to try it because I am a huge fan of its competition, the Kodak Pro Image 100, which is an ultra-grainy and inexpensive consumer film. It's supposed to be a film that is great with nature, and again, I love the Fuji greens they are known for. I cannot get it here in the United States. It was inexpensive in Japan, and I'm always excited to have new film to try for years to come. Almost done here with Fuji, but I cannot forget their classic color reversal and slide films. This slide film was the only one available until Kodak brought back their Kodachrome a few years ago, and now it's feared that Fuji will be discontinuing all their reversal film now. In any case, I have managed to get 1 5-pack of 120 Velvia 50, 100, and Provia 100, as well as several rolls of each of 35mm. I admit I have yet to shoot any of these as well, but I have good reason. I have to savor these as they are next to impossible to get and are not cheap, and I want to get more experience before I ruin rolls. The Provia is said to be warmer than Kodachrome, and I love warm photos. Also, Velvia is considered by many to be the landscape film, and even has gone as far as to claim that it's what defined landscape photography, with its ultra-fine grain and vibrant saturation. The 50 speed is still available as of time of the recording, but the 100 is what I am more interested in, as it has been discontinued in the US due to EPA regulations, plus 1 extra stop of light is always welcome. I'm looking forward to shooting these. Next up is a bunch of Kodak consumer film. Kodak Ultramax 400, Kodak Gold 200, and Fuji Film 200. Yeah, you heard me right. The new Fuji Film 200 that I have a 3-pack of is just rebranded Kodak Gold in 35mm. In any case, it's still a great film that is warm and known for inexpensive price, and the golden Kodak yellows. I even have a 5-pack of the 120 frozen because they are currently selling for an extremely inexpensive price, most likely due to overstock. It's a great film, and even greater to have something I don't have to be as concerned with the price per frame. Lastly, with this line, I have 3 Kodak Ultramax rolls, which are essentially gold, but with one more stop. I really can't have enough of these everyday films. No freezer is complete without various black and white films from Ilford. I like the 400 speed Delta and HP5 a lot in both 120 and 35mm, with HP5 having really attractive grain structure and sensitivity, and Delta having such fine grain at the same speed. The Kentamir 400 was the cheapest film for medium format I could get at the time, so I mostly just keep a few rolls in the freezer for testing, as I do not like the lack of dynamic range. I don't have much Ilford in my freezer, just because Ilford has not shown any signs of issues or film discontinuations, thus I'm always able to buy fresh film reliably at a great price. Thought I was done with Fuji? Well, I have this Fuji Acros 102 film because I am told it's just good. I do not know much else. I added it for free shipping a while back and I have not shot it. I was told it was manufactured in partnership with Ilford, so it seemed interesting. This is my last black and white films in the freezer, as Kodak equivalent to HP5 TMAX 400 I have unfortunately run out of. Regardless, the TMAX line is fantastic at resolution and grain, and I have these for when I really need the resolution. This is probably the most interesting film I have, the FPP Low ISO, better known as Kodak 2254 Color Intermediate Film. This film is intended to be used to make copies of film, which is why it behaves incredibly odd when shot with a camera at an ISO of 1 with a very strong blue cast. I've wanted to try this for some time, and I added it to my order to get free shipping. Thanks to my friend Thomas for sending me a few sample images. Kodak ColorPlus 200, or its old name Kodacolor 200. It is my favorite Kodak film with its crunchy grain and contrasty photos that render images like they were taken 40 years ago. I do wish it was one more stop sensitive at times, but I find this my go-to film for street photography or anytime I want to take photos of 70s and 80s objects and places. These are my motion picture films, as in they were intended to be shot for movies. I acquired a 400-foot recan of Kodak Vision 3 500T, and I intend to either roll my own 35mm with it, or actually run it through a motion picture camera my friend's own. Same thing with the other roll of 200T, but I purchased that new from Kodak. It can be very cost effective to make your own rolls out of these larger rolls, and I do like the look of unmodified cinema film, as it's what movies are shot on, hence why I have them in the first place. In the same category, I have one roll of Cinestill 400D in 35mm from when I backed it on Kickstarter. I am personally not a fan, as it's just 250D 5207 with the protective remjet backing removed, but I am saving the last roll if I ever want to try it again. This is Harman's first attempt at color film, Harman Phoenix 200, and after shooting my first roll, I wanted to freeze one and take a look back at it in a few years once they release improved versions. It definitely has its issues, but I do like it at times. This is my oldest film in the freezer, as I have 2 rolls of the infamous reversal film, Kodachrome 25. I purchased it on eBay with the hope that I can one day develop it in color. But I know this is wishful thinking, and that in all likelihood, the 14-step process that was discontinued about 15 years ago will never be around again. Last, but certainly not least, is the 5 rolls of Santacolor 100 35mm I got from backing the Kickstarter campaign a few years ago. This film is actually a respooled Kodak surveillance film, and I really do like the look. The resolution and grain is ultra fine, and the color negative film can also be processed as slide film as well, making it a super versatile film stock. I have bought so many rolls because during the campaign, the film was much cheaper when I bought it in bulk. Plus, there were film shortages at the time. This was one of the only films I couldn't get my hands on. And there you have it. I really need to start shooting more of this film so that I can store more film. It's a bit of a cyclic problem I got here. In any case, I also have lots of film and other various goodies in my fridge, but that's for another time. Thanks for watching.